are talking about the 5 systems that you're going to need to have more visibility and more client. Let me know this is how you feel, because I can tell you for sure that at one point I got a couple of clients on my calendar, but then I had to create more content. I have to speak up more. I have to create the curriculum. I have to show up on social, you name it. I have everything on my agenda, all my to-do. So if you're doing all the things and still not quite getting that consistent client and feeling you're stretching yourself thin and wondering why your business is not growing, this is the show for you today. Those of you who are new to me, I'm Michelle, and I am a visibility marketing coach and speaker success coach. I help coaches to get more client, obviously getting more visibility, and also getting some paid speaking gig. Some of you are out there and you're plowing through all the obstacles and you're finally landing on that opportunity, but then you just went there and delivered for free. I'm going to show you how to exactly have these 5 systems in your business so that you can continue to get more paying client without the constantly grind. And once you have those systems in place, I promise you, life is going to be a lot easier. So today we are going to talk about the 5 systems every coach needs in order to grow your business for less hustle and more into the heart, because there's a lot of things that you're doing. Trust me, I know. I've been there. And when you're doing this solo, which I know a lot of you are doing this kind of solo, or even if you just have one assistant, like maybe helping you writing out some of the graphic or planning out the social media, it's still pretty stressful, pretty intense. So I'm going to show you the 5 systems that you're going to need in your coaching business in order to make this a less feeling of a hustle and something that's more enjoyable. The reality is you became a coach because you're so passionate about coaching, and you sit there and you're wondering, can I just take a breather and just be a coach? You like to hold the space for your clients. You like to sit there. You like to watch their light, their eyes pop, and that feeling of the transformation that actually happened, right? Those of you who graduated from IPAC, I'm also an IPAC coach. And that feeling of you can watch someone energy shifts just from that one conversation that you have with them. That is powerful. But little did you know that by signing up to becoming a coach, you also have a business to run. And behind that business, there's a lot of things that you would have to do. Now, some of you maybe had part of this figured out, but no one ever put together this comprehensive system for you. Like, these are the things that you're going to need in order to get that consistent flow of client coming in. So I'm going to walk you through what that 5 system would take in order for you to have that powerful, being a powerhouse in a sense, to continue to attract the client. So system number 1. System number 1 is a way of this is nothing new probably to many of you, and you probably have been stuck with this for a while. So if you're able to get a couple of clients on your calendar, chances are you probably have already nailed this down. And that first system is really about your messaging, right? Magnetic messaging is what I call it. Basically, your messaging, how you communicate with your potential client, with your prospect, or how you communicate on social media is going to open the door for you to attract the people into your audience. So those of you who are focusing on growing your audience, whether it's on Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook, no matter where you're trying to grow your audience, you'll notice that your message will actually naturally just attract people wanting to follow you. They're just interested in what you have to share. And the thing is, you don't have to be a copywriter. Now you have ChatGPT, which is awesome. It's like your personal assistant throughout the day. And I do not know a coach who did not use ChatGPT. So there you go. So you don't have to be a fancy copywriter in order to know your messaging, in order to narrow your message. You just need some clarity. You need clarity in order to ask the right question into ChatGPT. So I do have a resource on that. If you want my 7 prompts to ask ChatGPT in narrowing your messaging, just drop it into the comment, ChatGPT, and I will reach out to you and I will share that resource with you. So all you have to do is just comment down below ChatGPT, and I have 7 prompts that's going to allow you to ask ChatGPT to get that messaging clarity. So clarity is number 1 and is the most important things in your messaging. But once you have that clarity and you know your niche, you know who you're going to attract, you have all that in place, you need to somewhat create a system that you're going to allow you to continue to bring those clients in. So how do you do that? This is something that I was telling one of my clients earlier today, and I was sharing with her how I create these messaging systems that I continue to collect a library of the things that my ideal client would say. And so I have a spreadsheet organized in a Google document. And on that paper, on that sheet, is a system where I collect all these different things that my ideal client would be talking about, the topic or the question that they would be asking. So, do you have something like that where you can continue to create content to focus on what your ideal client will be saying, will be talking about? You need to somehow to create a system for yourself so that you can keep those topics, idea coming in into your business without having to like scrambling around trying to figure out, okay, so what do I create next? If you're at that point where you're thinking about what do I create next, then we need to talk. All right, system number two. Number two is a content that converts. Now, earlier I talked about creating a spreadsheet of all the topics, all the things that your ideal client might be talking about. So right there, that's my spreadsheet that I keep around for my magnetic messaging system so that I don't have to go around and trying to figure out what do I create next in order to create content that's going to attract and that's going to convert my audience into maybe my subscriber and subscriber into my email system, and then I can build a relationship with them, or they continue to stay in my world, whether it's on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube channel, that they would stay connected with me. The second system that you're going to need to have is you need the content that will convert, right? So this way you can stop posting constantly on social. And one of the best way to actually create content that convert, in my opinion, for coaches especially, or for consultants, those of you who are creating a lot of value, you're delivering a lot of values like a blog post or an article that share your viewpoint, or maybe it's a video like this, you're sharing and teaching, then the best way to actually create that content is something that's a longer format. Longer format meaning it could be a blog post that you wrote, it could be a video that you produce. So you need to somehow have that system in place. Now, once you create a long form video, it doesn't mean that people will buy it, right? So even within that content, long piece of content, there are steps, and this will be another video for another day. There are steps that actually hit all the key talking points in order for your audience to say, this is exactly what I needed. So that's what I mean by content that convert. You don't want to put out valuable content and doing all the teaching, but at the end of the day, they're still hearing cricket. And that's not the purpose. So you'll be hustling forever, just putting out valuable content, but there's no buyer. So that's system number two. That's very important for you to have. System number three is, I like to call it a visibility strategy. So some of you might be interested in doing more talking. Maybe you like to speak on the stage, whether it's on a video, or maybe it's in person doing a workshop, or maybe you're someone who's more introvert and you hate the camera and you hate being in person, that people are watching you or listening to you and you can't avoid all these filler words. You might not want to speak. So in case you don't want to speak, there's always blog post, article that you can write, or one of the alternative things that I would encourage all my clients to do is, well, consider starting a podcast. Especially for those of you who are introverted, you might want to consider a podcast where you can turn on the microphone and no one will be able to see you. You can do it behind the camera, or so that you don't have to jump onto the camera and have that fear of, who am I going to talk to? Who's behind the camera right now? That is system number three, visibility strategy. Now, speaking is, in my opinion, is really your shortcut. You turn on the microphone, you turn on the camera, and you start speaking. Or you could do this in a live person setting, go onto a stage. If you enjoy the audience and go onto a stage or host a workshop or webinar, whatever that you choose, you want to have a visibility strategy that's in place. Whether it's a podcast, maybe it's a panel, maybe it's a workshop, don't be afraid to go and start asking where would be those opportunities. So you want to have that system in place as well. Now, once you have that, there's a lot of tracking, right? Over the year, I got hundreds of podcast interview and invitation. So if you don't have a system in place, it's very easy to actually lose track of where did I speak that might help my visibility, might boost my visibility. So you got to have a system. And the way that I like to track it is I personally use Notion. So I created a Notion dashboard that allowed me to actually keep track of all my things to do, which we'll come back to this in a moment because I would like to talk to you about how do you keep your sanity as a CEO in your business. So we'll come back to this later. System number 4. Okay, system number 4 is once you build that visibility strategy, once you have it in place, you're obviously out there and you're hustling, you're doing all the work. That hustling needs to translate into something more realistic, something that you can measure, something that you can track. And there's no other better way than turning that visibility that you do, being out there, into your email, into your inbox. So you need to somewhat, if you don't have this already, drop it into the comment down below, inbox, and I will share. There's videos I have done to show you how to set up your email marketing system. So comment down below, inbox, and I will drop that video for you, which I have already created. And the video is about how do you set up your email system, which email service provider do you choose, and how do you actually get people to join and jump onto your email list. So that is system number 4, to turn your visibility into your inbox so that your client, you can build that relationship even when you are sitting on a beach. Earlier last year, I was hanging out with my bestie on the beach, and I remember having the cell phone in my hand and the emails are still coming in. I still have a way of communicating with my clients and all these audience I am serving. So how do you turn that visibility into your inbox so that you can serve them and it doesn't have to tie you down in front of the screen all the time? How cool is that? Drop a clapping hand in the comment down below. Let me know. All right, we're down to the last system. And the last system, I think, is the most important one. And I hear this all the time. And coaches are coming to me and they say, Michelle, there's so much to do. I have papers and everything in place, and there's just so much to do. I totally hear you. The way that I set up my system is that I have this Notion template, Notion dashboard, where I track all the things I need to track, including client relationship, content calendar. I also have a section for my reflection, my journal, and I actually created a template for you. So if you're interested to grab that Notion template, I'm happy to share that with you. Just comment down below Notion, and I will share that template with you. But you need to come up with somewhat of an organizing system that allows you to track everything. So earlier I had talked about you're out there, you're putting yourself in the visibility round, you're creating content, and you got your message dialed in. So all these things, there's a couple of ways that I know coaches are tracking. They either have it written down on a piece of paper and notebook, and so there's tons of notebook flying around and you're trying to organize them. And you probably came up with the brilliant idea that you could turn it into a course, into a program, or it's your messaging. It's something that you can use and leverage and monetize, but then it just get buried into your notes. Or the other way around is you're actually creating these Google folders or folders of notes upon notes, and you don't even remember what you have created. So the way that I like to track these things I have created is I have these Notion template. So each time when I create let's say I have an idea, I put it onto Google Drive. I would bring that spreadsheet or bring that worksheet into my Notion. So it's one place and I can pull it up on my cell phone or anywhere I go, and I can quickly access it without having to think about, oh, where did I put that? Oh, I remember I wrote this down. So you have to remember that your business is not just a calling, it's an operation, right? So figure out a way to organize your visibility. You're out there and you're doing all these things. So step by step, you need to come up with a system to track everything, to organize everything, so that when you are ready to come back, you always have a way to find these information. And instead of, I remember I was in a coaching session and one of my clients actually told me that she showed me that she had notebooks upon notebooks of the stuff and idea. And she had no idea some of the things that we had shared that she can go back to. It was all buried in her notes. So here's what I want you to think about. Do you have a system in place where you can track your messaging, the content that you're creating? Do you have a way of getting out there, whether it's sharing, doing a speaking, or maybe you liked writing, then you're writing long form content that would allow you to actually repurpose that. And once you do get out there and start showing up like everybody told you to, once you start showing up, do you have a system to bring your audience in closer to you? Do you have an email system that's in place? And once you have those things, how do you keep your sanity and so that you'll be able to scale? And those are the 5 very important systems that I believe every coach needs to have in order for your business, not just relying on a couple of clients that you're able to attract, but continuously building upon that system so that you can attract a consistent flow of client. So if this client ends and you know exactly where your next client is going to come from because you already have this system in place. Now, the great news is, here's the fun part. I created something for you. I know it's important to have system in place, and I get this question all the time. People come back to me and ask me, Michelle, exactly what do you use? People always ask me, like, what do you use for email marketing? What do you use for visibility? What do you use for your content creation? So in order to answer that question, I actually put all these together in a very nice format for you. And it's basically the intention is to help you to build your business with less hustle so that you can be more in your heart. So I broke down all 5 systems that we had just talked about. And I also included some bonus pages that lay out all the tech stacks, all the things that I personally use and would recommend to you in that resource. So all you have to do is just comment down below system, and I will send that to you directly. So in this resource, what you're going to get is pro tip on how do you create that system in the messaging, how do you create that offer, how do you build that content that convert, and also your visibility strategies. And all that is in that resource for you, plus the bonus tech stacks that I have included that you're going to want and need. And these are the things that I personally have used, and I have used them many times, including the one that I just talked about, the Notion, the system itself. If this is what you want, just go ahead and comment down below, system, and I will be more than happy to share that with you. All right. So with that said, if you need more resource and you want to have a conversation with us and just be in the community, I'm going to invite you to come and find me on Facebook, Speak to Attract community, and you can join us. We have conversation going on in there, and I share visibility tips throughout the week. So come and join the conversation. Now, hopefully this video has been helpful, and I want to help you to organize everything in your business so that you can continue to grow and you can continue to expand without feeling like, okay, so what do I do next today after I have a couple of clients? What should I go about making it for the next one and the next one and the next one? And the answer would be having these 5 systems allow you to keep your sanity and stay organized so that you can continue to grow and expand. And with that, I will see you in our next video.